It's good. Well, I am new to Torah, learning Torah. I've been pursuing it for the last probably year and a half or 2 years. So I'm kind of a baby learning Torah, but I'm enjoying it and I'm feeling like it's where God is bringing me. And when she asked if someone had high school experience or experience with homeschool, I just wanted to jump in and share the knowledge that I have. I've worked let me see if this will. I've worked about 20 years in education. I work now at a homeschool charter. I have a California teaching credential, master's in cross-cultural teaching. I've homeschooled my own boys on and off per their needs. Sometimes they were in a program that was a few days a week that they were at school, and then I homeschooled part-time. And then last fall, I pulled them out and homeschooled for the semester during COVID. I pulled them out and put them in my charter school. So I've kind of done a little bit of everything. I've worked in their school. I've worked in brick and mortar. I've kind of just done a little bit of everything, but I've done 9 years with homeschool charters. In California, you're able to be part of a charter through public schools. And charters offer quite a bit in California. For our high schoolers, we offer $3,000 for the families to use for curriculum, and if they want to use it for sports or PE classes or music classes. So that's, a nice thing to have. So I'm kind of coming from a little bit from the charter world. So I'm just going to share a little bit of some things that I thought would help everyone with high schoolers. What we'll be learning is how to get free college classes while in high school. Using your community college for a resource. A really great thing to use is the CLEP test. It's a free way to get college credits, and you can use a lot of the materials as your classes, and then go ahead and take that class and use that towards their associate degree. And then I also wanted to share some online curriculums for tougher subjects to teach. I know when I had my kids home, they were in integrated 3, which is kind of a mix of, in California, we do integrated 1, integrated 2, and integrated 3. So it would be kind of that algebra 2, and also it incorporated some pre-calculus, just some pre-calculus questions and things in there. And so I needed help with that. And so I brought in tutors and used some online curriculums to help me with that, because I wasn't able to teach at that level. And my husband was, but with him working a lot, I needed something that they could go online and learn those topics. So I'm going to share some of those online curriculums with you. I just kind of wanted to show you the price of college education right now. And I'm showing you guys California just because that's where I'm from and it's what I understand and know. The CSUs are about $5,700 a year, but it's about $8,000 with all of the fees. Tuition for a UC is $14,000, and that's before lodging and books. And then community college is about $1,400 a year. In California, we do have the California Promise, which is 2 years of free junior college education. So just kind of wanted to share with you how expensive this can be. And we want to save our kids from going into debt and taking school loans. And so I'm going to show you some ways to save some money. I just included this slide. I'm not going to go over it, but if you are interested in financial aid, there's some good links there. I wanted to share a little bit about dual enrollment. Community colleges offer a lot more than just general ed classes. They also offer something called CTE, Career Technical Education. So if you have kids that might be interested in things like becoming a fireman, they have fire safety classes. Sorry, my dog is crying in the background. Fire safety classes, and they also have welding classes and construction certificates. Lots of different options for you to explore with your student or your child that may not want to go for that 4-year degree, but wants that certificate to be able to go right into the workforce. Also, a lot of high schools, if you're in high school, they have programs that are free, and homeschoolers, even if they're not with a charter, can join at the junior college and take classes there at the community college for free. So it's really good to look and see if your state offers that. The CLEP test is something I wanted to go over with you guys today. 2,900 colleges in the US take these tests. And what they are is they allow you to earn college credit by examination for skills and knowledge you may already have. And the tests are about 90 minutes long. You can take them from home or at a center or a site to take them. I'm going to click on this so you guys can see. This is their website. And because of COVID, they're allowing remote proctoring. So if you're a missionary in another country and you don't want your kids to get behind, maybe they're with you their senior year, or maybe they're going to be with you that first year where they could start college, they could be taking these CLEP tests. Also, they can start anytime. Anyone can take these. So if you have an 8th grader or a 9th grader, this would still, and they're taking these tests and passing them, they can earn credit that will go directly transfer over to 2,900 colleges. Liberty University, for instance, doesn't have a cap. I wanted to show you all of the classes that they offer. So these are all of the CLEP tests that they will accept, and they will put those towards their degree. And so if your child took American government, even if you're using a program that you are using, any program that you're using for high school, and then they take the CLEP test and they pass it, they wouldn't have to retake that in college, and they would get that 3 units for college. American literature, that's something that's often taught the 12th grade year. If they took that test and passed it, it's 3 units. So I just wanted to share that with you. One of the options you have is going through Modern States. Modern States offers free courses online. And here you can see that it's tuition free for 1 year. Everything is free on the site. And the best part about this is they're offering, if you take their classes, they're offering a grant for the $89 to take the CLEP test, because they are $89 a piece. But if you take their courses, then they will waive that $89 fee. But even paying the $89 for the classes really, or for the tests, really will save you in the long run for paying for college. So, if you're not into online, let's say you just want to make sure you know what your child's learning, there's workbooks you can buy for the CLEP test. Here's an example of the world history and the Spanish. And they're about $25, and you could work through the workbook, and that could be part of your homeschool time. And then when they pass the test, they're not only getting high school credit, but they're also getting college credit at the same time after they pass the test. So I really like using these workbooks. Okay, let's go back. And then I also wanted to share some online curriculum choices for hard subjects. Sorry, my dog has come to join me here. They always like to visit when you're doing a little presentations or things on Zoom that are for hard subjects. So Bob Jones is a good one because there's videos included. And as new homeschool parents, sometimes it's hard to, especially if you're homeschooling multiple kids, it's nice to be able to have a video for them to watch. Or if it's a subject that is difficult to teach, like I was saying, integrated 3 or pre-calculus. My kids are in calculus and pre-calculus right now. I want to make sure that they're having that direct instruction every day that maybe I cannot provide. These are some curriculums that are great to look at. Bob Jones, Abeka. Unlock Math is a great one, and it starts at 6th grade. It's $3.99 for the whole year. And what's nice about this program is it's a husband and wife team that homeschool their own kids, and they do direct instruction daily. And then if you need anything, you can call them, ask questions. They're really good about getting back to you. So I really enjoyed using this program. And it goes up, I believe, through calculus. Another one is Mr. Dees Math. Mr. Dees Math is a really great source for synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous means that it's a class where they would log in at the same time and have community. I find that I found when I was homeschooling, I had a co-op for my kiddos that 9 kids got together twice a week, and they really needed that at the high school level to have that community. So if you don't have the option of getting a group together in person, it's a really good idea to try to find an online community. And it'd be really great if we could have a Torah observant online community for the kids, so that they have other teenagers to bounce things off of and chat with, because we all know at that age, they really need friends and peer of their same peer age group. And last but not least, a really fun online option is OutSchool. And OutSchool's great. It's that online learning experience again, and it has everything from learning guitar, art, theater. I mean, there's going to be some classes on here you're going to want to make sure that you really look at, because it's teachers from everywhere, and they actually teach for OutSchool. So you want to make sure that you're choosing things that fit with your belief system. But let's say you choose a create, and this is all grades, kindergarten through 12, and you can find classes that you think might fit your child, and you can sign up for them, and they're really inexpensive, like $16 for 8 weeks. So if you can find something that fits for your child. I know my son did guitar, and he really liked taking guitar online. So those are a few things. I wanted to leave time at the end for any questions. Feel free to just jump in. I don't know if Charlie could look on Facebook and see if there's any questions that I can answer about high school, or using charter schools if you live in California, or anything like that. But I just want to let you know that I know for high school, a lot of people are just pulling their kids for the first time because of everything going on in the world. And I want to let you know that high schoolers need us more. My high schooler, and now actually one just is going off to college, need us more, I think, almost than the younger ones through these tough times. And it's not ever too late to pull your kids if it's right for them. And don't feel guilty if you go back and forth, because I've been in homeschool where some years I homeschooled and some years I don't. And sometimes they want to go back to brick and mortar to play sports. And other times I just, as a person of faith, I have to pull them due to things that are going on in the world. So I just wanted to let you know that don't feel guilty for where you're at. Do the best you can. And just know that God will help us through all of this and through these times ahead. So any questions, please just call out, or if Charlie can read on Facebook, and I'll do the best I can to answer.
Yeah, if you want to undo your share, and then that way we can kind of see who else, if there's someone else, because a lot of times people hop on. I ask over on Facebook. Let me refresh my screen here. Erica, do you have questions?
I don't know if I so much have a question. So we're doing American school for our 2 girls. And so I know you have a certain curriculum that is already set in place, and they keep all the records. So for me, that was like the best option, because I work full time. So organizational wise and jumping into it so quick, I knew it was going to be. If you want to add so I'm looking at, like the OutSchool, there were things on there that I happened to notice that I'm like, oh, I know, one of my girls would be really interested in this, or something else that I saw. How do you add like those things in outside of like a regular transcript? So like American School will give me like a regular transcript. So when she's applying to school, how would I like put that in? I'm like messing this up, but how would I like put in that they, she's taken this extra class that wasn't part of American School, that she's done, creative writing, or she did this art class, or, she did these, she's actually doing she'll be doing singing lessons and choir and things like that outside of our public school system, which you can, in Illinois has some of the loosest homeschooling. So we're kind of lucky. It's the one thing that we have in Illinois right now that we're clinging to. So I'm just wondering suggestions on how
Okay.
to add that to their applications for college.
Great. Okay, that's a great question. So state to state is different. I know in California they have something called a PSA, private school affidavit. It looks like you're going through. This would be similar maybe to a Becca, where they keep the records for you. And so I would reach out to that school and see if you can add an elective course and get credit that way. I know universities do have some certain standards that they need, an amount of hours that they need, but like even using these CLEP tests. So if you're doing American government through them, just have her try that test for $89 and see if she passes it, because then it would count for both high school and for college. So that's kind of cool.
Okay.
But you'd really need to reach out state by state. For private school affidavit, you would just add that as an elective and you could add it on. But I'm not really sure about homeschooling laws for Illinois and how you could add that on.
I have a question about this, about the CLEP tests. Do you have any kind of an outline for study before you take the test, or you're just straight take the test?
You can do either. You can just go and take the test and you get immediate response for $89, or you can take the class that I had on there. It's called like Modern Studies. And if you take that, then they waive the $89 fee. Or there's workbooks that you can work through that you can buy on Amazon or anywhere. That's like a study guide, and then you can pass your test that way. And this is for everyone. This is for adults. Actually, it was made originally for people in the military, so that they could take some of their courses and get them done quicker.
I know that for me, I had to redo a statistics class because it had been so long. Coming back into a doctorate program, they were like, you have to have a current statistics within a certain amount of time. And but they had that option. So there was the option. So Cinnamon, you hopped in with us. Do you have questions? I know you feel free to ask.
Yes, I have so many questions. I'm in a dark room. Sorry. But I have a junior in high school that does have no plans of going to college. All he really wants to study, we found out in the last year and a half that he's very gifted in worship leading and music and things, and so that's really all he wants to do, is practice his guitar, his vocals, and do his online class with Brandon Lake. Of course, I'm going to make him do more than that. But is there any way that, since we're not going to college, the college route, is there any way we can, I mean, I really just like to get in 3 Bible classes and music, and call it English.
You know what? There's ways to do thematic units. So with a kid that's really into music, I would hang on. Let me get my teenagers quiet here real quick. Hang on real quick. They're in the kitchen eating and making a lot of. Okay, so. See, it's never easy with teenagers. They're always eating in the kitchen, right? So I would work on thematic units with those students, and try to bring in history through music and English through music. Because you're homeschooling, anything is open to you. So every child I think needs to learn how to write. So I would take those English 12 writing assignments, and I would have him write about music. Learn how to write a research paper using maybe a famous worship artist, and talk about his life, and find the topics, and bring in what that child loves, and have them learn those basic skills, but using the topics that they like. I know some kids like to learn about, I had one student that liked World War II, so we just did thematic units around that. But that way they're learning the subjects that they need to learn: English, math, social studies, science, but you can use those topics that really interest them. And if you talk to any homeschooler, they can help you with that, because we can help build some of those thematic units for you. Teachers Pay Teachers is a great way to do that also.
Teachers.
If you look up Teachers Pay Teachers and you type in the subjects that you like, it's great for younger ones too, Charlie. I was a kindergarten teacher for years, and I use that quite a bit.
Do you actually pay teachers to do this, or is it just called?
So teachers, actually, it's called Teachers Pay Teachers, and they put unit studies on this website. And then you can buy them for like $10 or $15. It's like months of work to put these units together. And then you just print them out and the kids can work on them. And sometimes there's slideshows. I've used them quite a bit when I was in the classroom, just because it saves so much time. So that's something that you might be able to look up, like an essay on a famous musical artist, and then have him work on writing that.
Oh, Teachers Pay Teachers. And we started, I didn't realize that about the end of April, we quit doing school. Like life got crazy and we didn't finish our sophomore year. So and my mom is sick. And so I'm frantically, this week, we're going to finish the sophomore year.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm still asking questions about curriculum.
There's no emergencies in homeschool. I like to tell people that. You know what? We have the gift of time. We don't have to stay to the center of the class, because as teachers, we always were like trying to move at a certain pace. We can worry about our individual child when we're homeschooling. And you have a lot going on in your life. Give yourself grace, and it's okay, and you'll catch up. But you do want to really, even though he just wants to do music, you do want to make sure, I would let him explore that, but try to add in a little bit of the writing and the math, unless you're trying to unschool him a little bit. Is he coming out of public school?
And I did that last year.
Okay, good. Okay. Because you're going to want to take a time where you just unschool him. You get out of the old way of the brick and mortar schools and let them love learning again. So as long as you've gone through that, now you're going to want to start adding those things in when he's ready. But I think for him, just adding them in, using the things he loves, is the best way.
This past year, I was very relaxed and we just did stuff easy, because I was really more concerned about hooking him in and wanting him to do it his junior and senior year than I was about what he learned. I don't know if that's a good thing to say or not, but.
No, and you know what? Life lessons are more important, especially in times like these. I think that life lessons are more important than anything they could learn inside of academic curriculum. So what you're teaching him at home and teaching him about going through these hard times that you're going through at home and how you're overcoming that, he'll learn more from that than he ever would sitting in a desk at school learning algebra. So I think you're doing a great job, Cinnamon.
Oh, thanks.
Believe in yourself, really. You have your child with you because that's what God wants you to do. And just always know that my mom always said, we're going to make a lot of mistakes when we're parents. And I know I've made a lot of mistakes, but my mom always said, if you love your kids, it covers a lot of mistakes. So, and we all love our kids. So that's always kind of got me through. And then always now, even knowing that God loves them more than me, isn't that just a relief as a mother, knowing that he loves them more than we love them.
Amen. Do we have, Charlie, a plan to get maybe Robin Gould's book, Marriage and Divorce, in a homeschool curriculum?
I don't have a plan. You have to be, complete honesty is this was so off the cuff this week. And today was the perfect example of how I overbooked myself. But I was like, felt like there was this need and I felt like I had to react, like I had to respond, not react. So I responded and I just reached out to as many women who could just come on and jump in for an hour, because I feel like what he's showing me this year is it's all about mentoring and discipleship. And how do we do that? It's by the word of our testimony, right? Like our testimony with each other can save so much time. Like Holly can save you so much time to be, so that you don't have to go these same hurdles that maybe she had to go through, and then you get to save someone else and we get to help each other. And so what I'm looking for, I would love in the spring for us to, as I'm putting the calendar together for the year, I would love to, probably not the spring, I would love to hear from you guys the good timing. So you're out of school would be like the end of June, the best time, like maybe like a last Sunday of June, and like an all day like conference like we other do, and actually put it together in a legit way, planned and everything. And the other thing would be, this is a really great for us to understand what are your needs, because I'm hearing, so I'm making notes right now of like, what are some of the things about, the online community for teens, a private group, maybe even for homeschoolers for you, because that we can help you guys facilitate. But yeah, please send me messages. Here's what I need. And then we'll see what we can do, or we know someone who does it.
And one thing he's wanting to do is to is there a curriculum about the Psalms and all the songs in the Bible?
Interesting, because Kalisa's just finished her latest Becky book, and it is about the power of song. And she goes through, I think it's 144,000 harps, or I apologize, hope she doesn't hear this. I don't remember the exact name of it, because it literally, she just finished it and it went to publish. So that's coming out. And if anyone else knows of a great book about that, about going through all the song, would be great curriculum for you. I feel like set free for you. Are you feeling set free? I feel set free for you. Like, how great that you can write like an English paper on, Stephen Curtis Chapman or Paul Wilbur and his process, or, something cool.
I think I'll feel more free once I've got the buy-in from the teenager.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's that, right? Yeah.
The buy-in is always the hardest part.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to homeschool high schoolers. Everybody thinks they're just going to do their thing, and some kids do, but I had one of mine fight me along the way. And this is what I've done. I've helped a lot of people with homeschooling over the last 20 years, and I had a hard time homeschooling one of my own. So, it's not always easy, and that's okay. Things that are, sometimes it's hard. And if people tell you homeschooling is always easy and it's all sunshine and roses, it's not always easy. So,
yeah.
But, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, for those of you on Facebook that are listening, Erica mentioned that Chris H., who's going to be on tomorrow night, Chris used all the Becky books for one of her kids. That's what she used actually as part of her curriculum. She used all the Becky books as part of the curriculum, which is really great, because they're meant for beginners. They're meant to take them from start to finish. Erica?
I was just wondering if Holly could expound on like the unschooling, because we're just pulling out. And so, I'm familiar with like people like unschooling their kids, but almost like as a whole homeschool curriculum, but never thought of like, deconstructing their thought process, maybe.
It's a lot about kind of what Gail was talking about, relationships first. Build those relationships at home. Give it, and some kids need longer than others, depending on how long they've been in the system, and how much sometimes there's damage. Now, some kids fit fine in public school settings, and some have a lot of damage from it. So it kind of depends on where your kids are. But go on field trips at first. Build those relationships. Work on a schedule. Take your time. Take them to the library. Have them learn to love learning. And Charlie, even with your kindergartner, take her to the library, take her to the park, work with Play-Doh. I mean, those are things that are great to do with the little ones. And for high school, maybe it's taking them to different concerts to learn about different music or classical music. Possibly, libraries are always great, like I said. Just field trips. Depending on where you live, maybe you go to Washington, D.C. and see the monuments, but really just build that relationship with your child again, because like she said, if the social emotional isn't met, they're not going to learn the academic part. So let your child get used to homeschooling and love learning, and they'll start asking, hey, I want to learn how to do this. I have one friend who unschooled and didn't teach her child to read until high school. And now he's an avid reader. So it's a very different concept for us, especially going through the public school systems. and it's scary. And I've been a homeschool teacher to someone, and I started being their homeschool teacher in 7th grade, and he couldn't write well enough for spell check to fix it. And I was in a panic coming out of public school thinking, oh my goodness, because I was a homeschool teacher, and then I did public school for 8 years, and I went back to homeschool. It was an advisor teacher. And I was like, this kid can't write. There's something wrong. No, we're unschoolers. It's going to be fine. And I watched him progress. And now he's writing papers. He's reading at 12th grade level. It just all clicked for him. And so it's a different philosophy, and there's a lot of books on it. It sounds like there's somebody in the chat who said that they're unschoolers, and it'd be really good to kind of chat with them, because there's a lot of value in a lot of things that they do. And unschooling is not for everyone, and that's okay. Some people want to have that workbook and go through each page and know that they're learning. And you just have to meet the needs of your child. Some kids love homeschooling and some want the workbook. So it's important to meet the needs of your child, not someone else's.
We did a version. I'd like to hear, Kimberly, I'd like to hear from you, like how you do that, because Erica, I'm with you. I'm like structure. I want to know like what happened, what's next. So when the father asked me to do something like this off the cuff, I'm in a panic because I don't have the boxes checked. I don't have lists made. I'm like, I don't have a Post-it even note made. I'm like, everyone's needing links. I haven't even thought about like what time we're starting. But with Shelby, I kind of went back and forth when she was little, because I was traveling as a speaker and stuff around the country. And so she had to kind of be, so when we were home, I would put her in a little like Christian school. And then when we were on the road, she'd be homeschooled. And it was cool. It's really cool that when we were learning about the missions, we actually went to missions when we were learning about, and she didn't even know. It was kind of unschooling. And so when we got back to when she started back into her class, and the teacher was like, well, this is it was a public school. And they were like, basically saying I was child abusing because I hadn't like taught her anything. And I was like, she learned more in these 6 months that we've been traveling all over the country. She went into Mexico, into orphanages. She actually saw the cultures in these countries that she's learning about. And go ahead and let her read. Let's see what she can read. Let's see what she can do. And she was fine. We unschooled in that she didn't know she was going to school, but we were learning things. When we went to the tide pools, and we talked about, we looked them up, like, let's look this up. What is this a thing? What is this an enemy? How do you say that? We try to make a funny song out of it because she was little. You kind of unschool, but you're really schooling. Kimberly, how do you do it? Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. My oldest one, who's 17 now, she just bucked every workbook, curriculum. I bought so much curriculum, and she just would not cooperate at all. But what she can do is read. She's an avid reader. And it actually took her, she really was 9 before she had any fluency with reading. So we just kept, plugging away at the reading. And I used a really simple curriculum for that. And then she started reading on her own. And so I did things like, oh, what do you want to study this year? Oh, I want to study the Renaissance. So I would get on Amazon and buy every single used book on the Renaissance that I could find, or we'd go to Goodwill or whatever. And so she's one of these kids that likes to read all the books, make a dress, make the food, do fancy eye makeup. She just does everything, but and I kind of was like, okay, as long as you can come back to me and tell me about what you're learning and express to me in some way that you're, retaining information. And that's what she does. I do also have to say, when she was, let's say 10, 11, 12, she couldn't write a paragraph. I could barely get her to write a sentence. And I panicked because by that time, if you're looking at public school, kids are writing papers and book reports. And I tried to make her, fit my picture of what I thought she needed to be at. Well, she's 17, and she's actually is such a fantastic fiction writer right now. She's found a a group of Christian women who write, and she goes and she's a part of this group every month. And I got to be a fly on the wall this last month, and I'm amazed at her use of words. And boy, she can write a paragraph now. I don't know when that happened, but it did at some point, and I'm really proud of her, you know. So she's not really interested in college, but you know, as she graduates from work, you know, doing school, quote unquote, and moves on to working, which she's doing that transition right now. You know, she can get her GED, and then she can still go to college. There's, you know, there's no shame in that. She can read, she can do math, she can write, she has all those foundations. And when she's ready to move on in life, she can go and do that. She can get her GED, she can go to college if she wants. There are online classes about all sorts of things. I've given her what she needs, the foundation she needs to learn. And that was what was most important to me, you know? So my other two children, they are an interesting experience. I have one who has learning disabilities. So that's been like a whole new chapter in the unschooling. We have to work a little harder, and I'm struggling to find curriculum that works for him. I'm not opposed to curriculum, but we're still struggling. But I get my panic moments. But then again, I realize as he gets older, he also has a better ability to grasp a hold of concepts. So if I can just calm down and build those relationships so that he's willing to listen and learn and receive, then when his brain is ready to make those connections and to click, I know that it's going to happen for him. I just have to not panic, because once I start panicking and I start pressing him and, you know, having expectations for him to grab a hold of concepts, that's when he backs off and he's like, nope, not going to do that. And then my youngest one, she loves workbooks all day long. She wants to do the workbook, and she wants a sticker that says she did good, you know. So I've got all kinds of all sorts of kids, but that's how we do it. It's worked really well for the oldest one. Things may have to change as, you know, the other two get older, but so far that's how it's been for us.
I wanted to also add that a high school diploma is not always required to go to a community college. There are some majors like engineering that you may have to take the GED before you go into that subject matter, but there are quite a few that if you have homeschooled at home and you've done it on your own, you haven't turned in your paperwork over the last few years, you can still go into the junior colleges. I personally like it when someone's, if I was doing it on my own, I would like someone to kind of keep my paperwork together and things like that. But it is possible to do junior college or community college without even having your high school diploma, just so you guys are aware. Don't feel like that would hold them back if you're doing it all on your own.
Thank you for that. Stacy, do you want to share anything? Do you have any questions? I know you mentioned on here your daughter just got her GED and she was super ready. Anything else you want to share or questions you have for Holly? You could just unmute yourself. Or Crystal? Crystal, do you have any questions? Oh, Stacy said, if you heard my background, I gotcha. Okay, so any final tips or tricks or thoughts that you want to leave moms, especially those with junior and high schoolers?
I have a question. What is the
good
about the GED, like getting the GED versus finishing out these last 2 years of school?
I believe it's at 16 you can get your GED. And it's called something, I want to say it's called something else now. They have a new name for it, but maybe I'm wrong. But it's just a test that they take. And it's like equivalent to a high school diploma.
Do
A
you
lot of
know
places.
that have done it? That have gotten
Because I worked in the charter, we get kids through with a high school diploma, so I haven't, but I have suggested it to kids who just don't want, or they're just done with school.
Yeah. I do have friends that they have boys that are heavily into ministry. And I mean, they know that that's their life's passion. They're like media production. They're working for large churches. They're just doing, that's just their passion. They didn't want to be in school anymore. Just, they couldn't, all they wanted to do was be working, doing what they love, videography or whatever their passion was. And so they went, they got their GED, and with a GED, you can still go on and go into and get into like junior college. And if you go to junior college, then you can transfer right into a 4-year college without having to, it's without having to do all the tests, right? Is that my correct, Holly? You don't have to do the same testing. Because I know that for me, I didn't get a GED. I actually graduated, but I went to junior college and then went on. And one of the benefits was I didn't have to take all the tests, especially having to go back older. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. Because you would have your AA, you'd have all of your general education classes done, and then that would transfer to a 4-year university to be able to finish your major.
Now,
Yeah, so
this
if he
Stacey,
wants to move on, he goes, yes, Stacy.
I walked away from my background. We got our GED actually. She was 16, and the reason that we did it was because she wanted to take dual enrollment classes over at our local college, and we could not get any type of financial assistance to pay for her classes unless she had a high school diploma. And so she was already through almost the middle of her senior year. And so they advised us to go ahead and let her get her GED. And then we would be able to start her full time in college instead of just doing the dual enrollment. It was going to benefit her more. So that's why we got our GED.
okay.
Any other questions? Stacy, you coming back? Oh, nope. Back. Oh, no.
No,
Cinnamon, do you have more questions?
Oh, I have so many questions. Okay, so does anybody have a curriculum on songs for homeschool? Except for Holisas, you can tell me about Holisas.
Oh, okay. So anyone, if you have something about songs, curriculum about songs, you heard Cinnamon ask before. I didn't see anyone posting. I'm toggling back and forth between both places, and I don't have anything coming through on Facebook. But if a lot of people listen to replays. I mean, that's our history here, is that most people go back and listen to everything we do on replay. So if you're on the replay and you hear this, would you please still message in here and let Cinnamon know that this is a curriculum as far as the songs, what you're looking for. Chris, okay, tomorrow is a good time. You can ask Chris also, because her family's worship. Erica's saying that they're worship leaders, so she might be able to give you some guidance. Yeah, I can ask. Yeah, so you can even tomorrow when she'll be on, you could ask her that, or you can message her. Her last name is, I don't know if I won't say it right.
It's Hideman. Like you're gonna hit him. It's like hit a man. It doesn't look like.
I just said that. So tomorrow I can say it
hit
right.
A man.
Amen. I'll say it correctly.
Amazing
Chris,
worship. Amazing
Chris
worship.
with a K. And so she's in the portion. So you could message her, or Chris with a K. And it's actually HUETTEMANN, but she'll be on tomorrow on 8:00 Eastern, your time. So you're on Eastern, correct? You're over in Knoxville. Yeah. So 8:00 your time, she'll be coming in. And she'd be the perfect person for you to ask that question.
8 p.m.
Yes.
I noticed a question in the chat about sometimes one spouse will want to homeschool, and then maybe your husband is saying, ooh, I'm worried, I want them to go to university. And there's a lot of online options, programs like it's Excel, EXCEL. It's $100 a month, and it covers all of the different subjects. It is a secular program. Using something like Bob Jones or Rebecca, or I don't know if Torah has one everything's online with videos. And those programs actually give a diploma afterwards. And so you can get a high school diploma from those online schools. So you could be homeschooling at home, but have that support. And then again, if you're in California, you can use the charters. And I don't know, other states maybe have, I think there's a couple other states that offer charter programs. So you get state money for homeschooling. Because I know the $3,000 a kid can really add up. You know, some of our families have 4 kids, so it allows mom to stay home and homeschool, because then that $12,000 can go towards their curriculum and all of their extracurricular activities. And we have teachers, our homeschool moms, are the teachers of the kiddos. And we would meet with them once every 20 school days, just check up with them, see how they're doing, and then make sure they're learning the standards. So there is a little bit of oversight, which some homeschoolers don't like, but it is an option for people who do need that financial assistance, because homeschooling can get expensive. You can do it, inexpensively, but it takes a little bit more work.
Right. If you're not having to pay for it. For some of you who, I noticed it was a little while ago, maybe a few days ago, I noticed someone did a post and said that they had been using Bill Bullock's curriculum. I just wanted to encourage you that for those of you who don't know that, Bill, if you go to biblicallifestylecenter.com and then go under the Rabbi Son, Bill started as many of you know, he was mine and Brenda's mentor for years. Like, that's who we studied under and where we learned a lot beautiful redemption in the Torah. You're going to learn deep, amazing things, but he started writing this curriculum out for his boys so that they would have curriculum learning Torah. And that's the reason he did it. And there's questions at the end of all of his stuff. There's one for every day, like Sunday through Friday. They go through it and there's questions at the end. It's set up like curriculum, like Torah curriculum. I feel like it's a college course. So I remember first starting and reading it thinking my brain was hurting. And I'm like, I have a master's degree, but he was like, well, your kids will get used to it. You will be surprised what they can do. And the way he writes it, and he's a musician as well. So, and I know he's on Facebook so that you could reach out to him, especially for the music. His son, John Michael, that was his passion. And he still writes amazing worship music for people, for great people, and does like those music labs and stuff, and goes and does those great things. But you can go in there and it's free. You go there in his archives and you can print them out each week and you can use them for your school curriculum. And that's a free resource for you for teaching Torah, but you could also use that and incorporate English. So if you have a child that's very ministry related, or I know like it'd be like your Emily, right? Like if you'd be like, here, I'm going to you're going to learn Torah. So, okay, well, let's write a paper on this. And his things are set up like that. You're going to learn a little bit of Hebrew in there. You're going to learn the redemption and the beauty of Torah. So he does a great job teaching that. So, and again, it's free.
What's his name again?
Bill Bullock. And it's under the Rabbi Son. Let me see if I can pull the direct link and get Bill Bullock, but it's under Biblical Lifestyle Center. Let me pull it up here. Biblical Lifestyle Center, Rabbi Son's Ministry.org, biblicallifestylecenter.org. Then the tab is going to be, it'll say the Rabbi Son is one of the options. It says the Rabbi Son. And then you have all the options. I mean, you can even pay $10 or $20 a month, I think, and they can listen to it if they're auditory learners. They actually have, his son John Michael actually read them, and then you just have them answer the questions. But he goes through and you'll see the Torah portion, the Torah study written archives are on that page. I'm going to put it in both chat. I'm going to copy this. I'll put it in both areas. So if y'all need it, it's right here. And again, you just go under the it says Torah written, the archives. You go in there. You can, and then, or you can subscribe to the written, and that's also kind of cool. I mean, I listen to them. It's nice to do them, and I've listened to them for years. I know Brenda's the same. We listened to him for a long time. John Michael has a great voice, his son. But again, it's free.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Another really great curriculum, I think, for high school. If any of you have heard of Dave Ramsey, they have a high school version for a financial freedom and learning how to use credit cards correct, or maybe not use them as much as we might use them in the United States. And I really like that curriculum for teaching financial security and making sure that kids understand how to use their money and also give their money to the Lord.
Mm.
That's the one thing I know. I think I shared before, even on Friday. If there was one thing I wish I know that the couple things I wish I'd done better, and then one of them was I wish I would have taught my daughter about money better. And now she's investing in that skill development in coaches and different things to walk her through because she has a successful business and having to learn how to manage, like instead of spending it all because you're getting a bunch, but learning how to walk that through. And I think I shared I don't know which call we were on, but I shared we had her senior year. I asked her to add up everything she thought she was going to need and give me a total. And I divided it over the 9 months and gave her that every month and taught to teach her how to budget for it. And if she didn't have any at the end of the year, if there was an activity and she didn't save the money for it, then she didn't have it. Cause I had to put school supplies, her clothes I told her to go do the investigation and ask other seniors what were the costs that were involved in being a senior. If you have kids that are going to maybe they are in public school, that was the case. She was going to public. We'd moved back over to a public school, but yeah, I'd highly recommend that Dave Ramsey course for I think seniors. Can you count that as like not government, but I took a life skills class.
I would take it as consumer math. I would take it as math.
Okay.
If I was a high school, if I was I'm thinking for Cinnamon, for your son who just wants to get out in the workforce, that would be his math this year, is going through that course.
Yeah.
Because then he can see the value in it, how to budget, that's life skills.
Yeah.
Which we're getting so far away from that.
I tried to do algebra 2 last year, and I'm just not giving him a credit because he did not do the work. But we're just going to do something else like practical. He hasn't done algebra 2.
And if he has 2 years, if he has algebra and geometry, usually that's all you need. If you transfer it into a school like Excel, you may want to look at that school. That's one of the easiest ones to get a high school diploma from. He might have to take an English class. He might not need that much to graduate. Just do the minimum it would take to get that diploma.
Okay.
And I know $100 a month is a lot, but it's cheaper than a lot of, maybe it's $149. I think I paid $100 per semester for one class, but they had like a deal where you could pay monthly for people who are doing that full time in their program.
Good. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'm refreshing over here on Facebook. Don't have any yet. Awesome. Holly, this was awesome. Thank you so much.
I hope it helps.
Yeah, a lot of great information.
That you can do it.
Yes, and you guys know that Holly is here in the portion, so you can ask her any question over there. She's also are you on our Slack for those that are in cafe members? I think you're over in Slack if they have to privately Slack you.
I need to figure out how to use that, but I am part of the cafe, but I need to learn how to use Slack.
No problem. It's just one more
Still
thing
learning
to do. One more thing to do. But you can private message her. You can message her, tag her in a question so that other people get the benefit of your question. That's always nice if you remember to ask your question to her and then tag her in it. And then that way other women get the opportunity to see the answers. Yes. Good. Yeah, by the way, the Dave Ramsey course, I had not the high school one, but I have a friend who that's what he gives for wedding gifts. He gives the Dave Ramsey course as a wedding gift. So yeah.
I think they have a middle school option too.
Great.
They have middle school, high school, and they have like the Christian perspective and then a secular perspective, a secular one that's written both ways.
Right.
And that's just so that homeschoolers can buy it in California. So we can't purchase in California, we can't purchase religious curriculum for families. They can use it, but we can't purchase it with state money. So that's a way that they can get Dave Ramsey without it being, so that way it stays secular. That's why he wrote it that way, if you were wondering.
Perfect. Well, y'all pray about it. Maybe someday we'll come up with something. We're in the process of doing our 501c3 and it's under an education platform, not religious platform, but it's going under an education platform. So that I don't know if that'll help us with regulations or not, but we'll see. So y'all pray. Thank you again. Thanks everyone. Great questions. Keep them coming. It's not, you can keep asking over on Facebook, everyone watching the replay, you can answer. And then again, this recording will go into the library if you are in the cafe member. Also, I think, and then we put it in the cafe, you can buy them all like in a chunk, like just all of them at once. I think it's $20 and you get all the recordings from the whole week. There's like 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. I think there's going to be 9 total speakers that you grab them all. If you want, if you're the person who needs that and then they want to listen to them instead of just trying to scroll through Facebook to find your videos you want to watch, you can go grab that. So you guys have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night. Thanks so much. Thank you. And hey, Holly, would you grab, send me over, can you send me over a PDF? Just save that as a PDF and
Sure.
that way I can
Mhm.
post it in the library. Perfect.
Mhm. Sounds good.
Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
Bye-bye.